So I would first like to know what is universal perspective.
So, universal perspective, in its literal meaning, means a perspective which is universal, and frankly, as such, there is no such thing. But what universal perspective is, it's a space to pause and reflect who we are. And universal perspective, it started off more like as an idea of career counseling plus counseling combined, but it meets somewhere in the middle. And there's a long story behind how it came to be. But basically, it is a space where we can look back at who we are and align what we do with who we are.
Alright. And could you also tell us a little about your journey from your education to Vatsalya and now Universal Perspective?
Yeah, so my life journey has been interesting to say the least. I'm an engineer technically, as per qualification and our present education system. But more or less, I've probably been more of an explorer, exploring who I am. And I realized that I'm not at all alone in this journey, and there's a lot of people who need the permission to explore. And as I've grown up in my schooling days, my college, I have had more and more chances and opportunities to talk to various people from various backgrounds. And one thing was common, which I've observed and also observed in myself, that there are various occasions, more frequent than not, where we feel lost. And being lost, if you just, you're right now in the Vatsalya campus, which is 40 kilometers away from Jaipur. If you just hop on a bus and go to Jaipur and look to people around and look at their eyes, a lot of the eyes have questions, but curiosity is gone. So the eyes are lost in the sense, what do we want to do? There's youth who is preparing for years and on for competitive exams, for whatnot, whatever we are shaped into doing. But the culture is not giving us the time, opportunity, window to really look back and ask the profound question whether we are actually aligned with it. If not, should we make an effort to align with it, or should we do something which naturally aligns more with us? So, universal perspective is more about life direction and alignment. And in my story, after I became an engineer, did my initial jobs in JK Tyre, Eicher Polaris, and then was fortunate enough to spearhead a wonderful team at Vatsalya into building a carbon negative campus, and having the privilege to mentor a lot of youth through the Vatsalya Shiksha Niketan school. I realized that something is still missing in what I would really want to do, and that was to at least take it out to the world, that through my journey and eyes, and then later on I trained to do it also as a professional career counselor, to have a different approach towards your personal and professional goal, as I did for myself. I worked on myself a lot the past year and the year before that, and it came to my conviction that I want to be able to provide the opportunity for a space for youth especially to walk into and realize their own alignment and potential. So that's how Universal Perspectives journey started with respect to me.
Alright, and when did you actually decide to become such an important part of Vatsalya?
So again, I would say part of my effort and part of luck, as you would call it, because my mother and father, they both have supported me in making my vision merging into Vatsalya. Now Vatsalya started originally as a place for orphaned and abandoned children, a residential care program. That was my mother's dream, and later my father joined in officially. And they both built a wonderful, not only school, I would say children's haven, HAVEN, where childhood is not lost. And along those lines only, I would say as an extension of that philosophy, Universal Perspective was born later on. And Vatsalya officially was registered in 1995. The kids started staying here in the year 2000 till 2019. It was a full-time residential care campus, and I was officially associated with Vatsalya since 2017. And through various programs, ins and outs, I initially, had a project to make the campus carbon neutral. That was my first vision, but then people started joining, and I started, looking after the school and various other projects, solar, which is my domain expertise, and then an astronomy project 3 years ago popped up, connecting to educational pedagogy and learning. So through Vatsalya, I got these opportunities to implement, large scale, probably not large scale in numbers, but large scale impact projects, impact driven projects. And that has been quite a journey. Vatsalya is kind of the mother, if Universal Perspective is the son. Yes.
Also, you mentioned astronomy, so I would really like to know how is astronomy connected to Universal Project?
Universal Perspective is deeply connected to astronomy, but it's more like a tool. So see, sometimes, in fact more often than not, we learn not through intellect but through experience. When experience transcends our understanding, real understanding, then things click. So through the past 3 to 4 years of teaching astronomy to kids from various backgrounds, I felt this was a real experiential practical science, and when you look at a celestial object way far away, or light years away, and you realize the magnitude of the universe and then the scale of ourselves, so it kind of humbles you. There's a sense of humility, and so you think about your existence and purpose. I've seen that happening in various people. So astronomy is one of the many experiential tools which Universal Perspective uses, and it depends on person to person, case to case. We are all at different life junctions, life stages. For example, and I cannot take specific names, but I had a client who wanted to be a veterinarian, and unfortunately, culturally, a veterinary doctor is kind of seen below a regular doctor.
I guess.
So he was faced with that conundrum. He's watching great, and I not mentor him in words, but I recommended to him a place I knew for horse ride. I had gone there myself, and I said, take out the time to take a full day safari with them. He did that twice, and a couple of weeks later I received a call from him that I finally decided to not drop this field. So it clicked that it was an experience that really, questioned himself that do I really enjoy, would I really, it would give me some sort of fulfillment to look after this animal or not? Am I inclined or not? So then you get over your hesitations. It's about getting over our hesitations. Astronomy has been one big part of that, and astronomy especially so because I'm connected to Vatsalya and I've led so many astronomy programs, so it's one thing which I can directly recommend, and a lot of people, I would say the child of a very rich, well-off person who's not played with grass or sand and not seen the stars at night is disadvantaged in another way. And same way, of course, the other kind of disadvantage is also there. So someone who is not able to get daily free-time meals is another kind of disadvantage. So beyond survival, you are not able to think. So it's ironical, the people who do not have enough to fill their bellies every day, although thankfully there are less and less numbers, they live under a beautiful night sky, a free lab which God has given to them, but they don't realize the potential of that field itself, right? If they wanted to. At the same time, lot of urban kids preparing for competitive exams, disconnected with nature, disconnected with applications of the very field they're actually studying. They are also at a disadvantage. So it's kind of a bridge. Astronomy is a very, very solid experiential bridge. And there are other bridges also. It's about experience more than just astronomy. So it's just a tool. You understand?
Yeah. And what has been the biggest challenge for you when it comes to universal perspective?
What has been the biggest challenge? I guess the past 1 year was challenging in itself to, manage Vatsalya and start a new venture 3 days a week, and parallelly also do some solar projects. Too much sometimes, but to get that into a set routine for myself, that was my challenge. But I was finally able to do that. But that is a surface level challenge. The deeper challenge was, which I came to realize later, is that universal perspective was not established in 1 year. It was the process of realization of more than 15 years before that. I'm 34 now, and probably since age 19, 18, 19, I've been thinking, 16, 17, so it's more than those times. What I really want to do, what am I aligned with, what will really fulfill me.
Creation started back then.
Yeah, so the challenge per se is a kind of a, it's a common challenge, and I don't use the word common lightly. In fact, on the contrary, I use it quite heavily because it's so profound in a lot of us. We go through a process of realizing what we are aligned to. So that had its own, I would say, struggle. I would say there were 2 or 3 points where I definitely felt, oh, this is something I would definitely want to do. So when I was establishing the parent company of Universal Perspective, called as Equanimity Engineering Solutions, I thought I just wanted to do, I wanted to improve the world by, putting really renewable energy and all that. But there was a part of me which said, oh, you need to address the mind. So somehow in its charter, I already included youth training and consultancy. This was way back in 2017. I did not know I would be doing this at that time, but I had a feeling. And then I did Vipassana around that time also, 10 days. When I realized the world needs peace to solve its problems, first we need to be slightly more at peace with ourselves to realize the larger things which are having an impact on civilization. That was the time when I got the initial inspiration to write the book. I can speak about that. And then my wife was pregnant in 2021. That was the time I wrote this book. It's a utopian book. And I can tell you more about it if you're interested. So this basically envisions a world without weapons, without borders, and ultimately even without money, with technology working for everybody's betterment and even salvation up to a point. And it's an interview 200 years from now. Okay. 2222. An old man is being interviewed by a young reporter. And all the technologies will come with it, because originally a science guy, I cannot resist, imagining a lot of technologies. This was one point, and another very impactful point was the birth of my son shortly after, of course. And I see how we all as a society need to improve the overall mental environment we live. Physical environment, yes, but first the mental environment. So
that makes so much sense. I would also want to know about the book more. Let's discuss the title first. It's very interesting, as you told me that this was written. It's based on 200 years later, right?
Yeah.
So could you give me a little brief about the book?
Okay. See, when I read it back now, I think to myself, from 4 years ago, I was so idealistic. But maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
During COVID times, my wife was also pregnant, and I already had this idea to write something which can inspire some efforts of betterment, peace in the society. If someone reads it, feels inspired. It was connected to the teachings of Vipassana from long back. But I thought, why not just paint a picture of a beautiful future which we can create, and we get over our hesitation. So this book, it's called 222222, The World One, and it's a one-day interview on 22nd February 2222, and the World One, it speaks of two major eras, 100 years after today's date, so up to 2122, and then the 100 years following that. And it was released in 2022.
Okay.
So in fact, this was the exact date I announced it. So the first 100 years are plagued by the age of hesitation, where we hesitate to do the right thing. And the right thing is being true to ourselves. It's not planting more trees and all that. That is probably the outcome of a lot of processing. But to be true to ourselves is the first thing. And to be true to ourselves inwardly and then expressing that outwardly also. That needed to be done. So when hesitation was there, the courage to stand out and be yourself wasn't there. And that led to the outer manifestation of destruction and demise of a lot of the areas of the world as we know it, including very high global warming. Right? If all world leaders today come on a common page, okay, this is a real issue. It's not that we are banning all internal combustion engines from tomorrow, but we need to look into it. And there are better technologies. Why don't we mass scale them and adopt them? So that's an outward manifestation of an internal realization, oh, I'm still stuck on oil because it's giving a profit, and stuck on money and all that. Now, money is not a bad thing. Money is the tool which helps us live, survive, but it's still a tool. It cannot be a goal or an objective or the life it cannot be a life currency.
Correct.
The life currency is our mind, our body, our well-being. Totally different aspects connected to money as a tool. And then the next phase speaks about the age of understanding, when really the good technology is popped up, when really after the extinction of polar bears and a lot of dramatic events which are described in the book, people came to realize and came together, abolished borders, and all those cultural barriers were kind of looked beyond, and that really helped the grand unification of the world in a way. And then the technology 200 years later, so it's like in a flower, which is a flying car, FLAR, there's a lot of stuff in the book. I can just have a coffee in Nigeria because there are no state borders. In half an hour from now, flying at Mach 2 in my own flower, where the whole sky map is very easily navigated by the sky paths. You don't collide with each other. A lot of things. So it's kind of a possible Harry Potter, I would say. I'm not getting exact words for it. Yeah.
Understood. It sounds really, it could be like a second version of Harry Potter. Definitely. What's one moment with a student that reminded you why this mission is so important? If there has been a moment which stayed with you.
I had a session yesterday with a client.
Okay.
And there are a lot of moments, but the one which came to me is the one from yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And the client had, you could see in the eyes that the client had a lot of potential to be happy, a great sense of humor, but was unfortunately bound by self-created traps of getting great scores as a measure of well-being, intelligence, delivery. Mm-hmm. One example. So when I talk to people, and it's really, again, heavy use of the word common, it's really common, I'm more and more pumped into trying to figure things out. And that's how the tool also came to be, the try assessment. I can talk about that, sure, but there have been many moments, and one moment which is not a reflection with a client per se, but like I said, when I drive from Jaipur towards Chirol and I see all those kids with bags hanging at the back of the forced traveler, preparing for government exams, risking their lives every day for this, and then look in their eyes, literally holding on for life, but mentally holding on for their life path. Yeah. So, again, like I use the word permission, we need to give ourselves permission to be. And it's not that I am a messiah and I know stuff, because this applies equally to me. But to talk about it, to be frank about it, to take action about it, kind of acts as a pressure release valve in the pressure cooker, which is society, which is our daily routine. Right? Not necessarily it is always a pressure cooker, but there are times.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah.
And what according to you is the biggest gap that children or students are facing when it comes to our education system?
The biggest gap students are facing.
Basically, the reason why counseling is so important for today's youth.
Okay. I guess, first I would go to the second part of your question. Counseling is unfortunately sometimes overrated also. You see, if I say I'm sad, it's a simple word. If I say I'm depressed, it's a heavy word. People can be sad, and that's okay. we evolved for thousands of years and we have been sad. That's okay, it's a fleeting human emotion. It's perfectly. So, I would say counseling as such in the process which is today, like going to a counselor and then talking and figuring things out, I would not say that is very, very important. But the second part, figuring things out, either with a counselor or with yourself, or at least doing something which, you don't feel a burden to get up in the morning and, oh, I have to go here or do this. There's a different energy when you get up and you say, yes, I get to do this. I get to do this. So today, it's such a wonderful, energizing thing for me. Oh, today is the day I really talk to the world about universal perspective. I'm excited. I know I've been checking with myself over the past year. This is something what I really want to do now. But it gives me energy, it's driving me. The same way, you talk to an engineer who, let's say, enjoys creative design, creating new CAD diagrams, computer-aided drawing diagrams with new vehicles, and he likes cars or likes vehicles. And every day he gets to design or work on his own design, collaborate with his boss, collaborate with his clients. It can be very exciting. That's how it should be. But just imagine if that same person was not inclined to be an engineer and he's just been made into one, but his original interest was, let's say, becoming a wildlife expert like Steve Irwin, the late Australian guy. He wanted to work with animals. And that will not drive him. We may do it for life, right?
Yeah.
But the cost is hidden. You get the monetary incentive at what cost, right? So, I think I swayed away from your original question. What was the question?
The gap that is there
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
education system.
So the education system gap, the education system gap is, I would say the system unfortunately doesn't look at the pupil. They see him, they don't look at him or her. They don't pause to understand each child. And then there are various domains of intelligence. So I may have great spatial intelligence, but you may have a great musical intelligence. So all of these actually has been incorporated in that TRI tool, which I will love to speak about. That those domains need to be looked at again in a dynamic unification, because a person is not just a result of memorization and 98 out of 100. There are cases where you get 98 out of 100 in 12th grade, and in first year you are lost because it's so misaligned. If the curriculum is not, the methodology is. So you cannot absolutely put everybody into one scale. So the individual attention, individuality of every blossoming individual, children, needs to be looked at from a unique lens always. And at the same time, I'm not saying that the systems are all bad. The systems are there, but they need to be kind of slightly deformed. Sultan, we are having a live stream right now. Sultan, back. So that's the part which all of us really need to look at and address. Rather than commercial institutions, we need to have real schools. And then authenticity with the child is very important. See, without you saying a word or me saying a word, inside we know how we are feeling, how we are. We communicate non-verbally 99% of the times. So children read non-verbal communication and they are fresh. And you show them authenticity, they become authentic individuals in life. You show them how to do things, you do with them, you collaborate with them, they become collaborators. So yeah.
Do you also think it comes from the house as well? I mean, when it comes to the communication part, not only teachers or our mentors, but as parents also, people are not that open with their children about a lot of things. which then leads to other problems at school or at work. Later at work, but then initially at schools and institutions. I mean, it's just a thought which crossed my mind.
I, I absolutely think so, but not completely.
Okay.
So, there's a common line which I say to a lot of clients. I would say seekers. ChatGPT gave me that word, seekers. Call them seekers. I feel it is filming, but okay. A lot of seekers that there's a band called as Savage Garden. You know about that band? Australian band.
Yeah.
There's a song called as Affirmation, and in that there is a line. I believe your parents did the best job they knew how to do. I tell it to a lot of clients, seekers. And there's a stage in our life where we realize our parents are neither gods. So, bachpan mein, at very young stage we say, oh, parents are everything. And then in teenage, oh, parents.
Yeah.
But we realize the truth later on that they are human beings who've had their own growing up phase, their own culture of growing up, their own conditioning, everything. So yes, that definitely plays a role, but we cannot just blame the parents or blame the system. Everything is a product of something. So what do we do from now, from this stage? That matters. That evolves into a new product, who we become. Right? So, yes, it matters, but it's part of the story. It's part of the history. What we do now matters much more. That's what I would say.
Alright.
Yeah.
So I would also like to know about the TRI assessment. Yeah, it's on your website and you mentioned it earlier.
Okay. So, it was, universal perspective, the word, it just came to me. There's a lot of, suspicion by a lot of people, oh, how many options did AI give you? Honestly, I did not ask AI for a name, it just came to me. And this try was also one thing which came to me, the real you. And you try to be the real you, right? So it's not just assessment. The assessment is a part of it. It's a try kind of assessment, a try assessment. But try is a model, it's a framework. And it's a very simple framework. The real you will answer who you are. Okay. The try assessment is built by really looking at the past century research on psychology, on career tests, on various tools which have been proposed by a lot of scientists. Like there's a Myers-Briggs test, and there is a VARK, visual, auditory, realistic, read, write, kinesthetic test. A lot of tools, big five. I'm not going into the details. So looking at all of them and combining them. So it started with simple match the following on pen and paper. And then our original team, who I would just like to mention, Priyanshi, Alkesh, Siddhantika, all of us could sit on and really shape it into a detailed 102 question assessment, digital assessment, which gives you the report instantly. So the algorithms later were combined by AI. The possible types of individual results is more than 10 raised to 82. So that is, I think, equal to or more, no, it's 10 raised to 121. 10 raised to 82 is probably the number of atoms in the universe. So those unique profiles can be obtained by that, and all tools combined. Normally, Myers-Briggs test, if you take the original authentic test, it costs you way more than 5,000, 6,000 rupees for each model. So these all models combined into one place in an 18-minute to 20-minute test, 102 questions, it gives you an instant reflection on yourself. Also, written in bold letters that this is not you, this is not a label. You can be different after a few months. You can change. It's right now what your responses are indicating, what your current life stage is at. It gives you out a 15-page detailed report instantly on web, and the cost is $500. So it's accessible to everybody. And out of the probably 40 odd people who have taken it till now, because it was launched just last month, I guess 38 or 39 of them have been so, sometimes we see, oh, it's a mirror. Felt like that. So, one client, review is on my Google reviews. He's actually my cousin brother. He never took counseling with me, but he wanted to try the test. He is a chef in Taj. After filling his form, in the career recommendations, the first one was chef. And he wanted to be a chef always. And there is no question about culinary sciences in the test. You understand? So we were able to put together over efforts of months this comprehensive test. And the reason we could have released it for 2,000, 4,000 bucks also. Even I was recommended by people. This is a big research in itself. But I thought the ultimate thing has to be access.
Yeah, you wanted to keep it.
So that's the real you assessment.
Alright, great. I would also like to take it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
Also, what role do NGOs play in creating opportunities for young people? Not only people who are not privileged, or not privileged, but also for people who want to be a part of something like Vatsalya. So,
Okay.
yeah, that was my.
So, non-profit entities have the capacity to change or in fact course correct the direction of the world through sincere work, and involvement of youth can play a very, very big role in that. But the way things are packaged today matters a lot to whether somebody would receive that kind of opportunity or not, would like to take it up. The thing is, and because the answer encompasses not only non-profit, it also would require me to talk a little bit about for-profits and corporates and the system. See, we are driven towards safety. Okay. Sometimes we get so lost in the pursuit of safety that we often do not wonder about our faculty of thinking out of the box, in the common words, and actually harboring our capacities. So safety, when we speak of safety, the first thing which comes into a normal person from any city would be money. Now, the money it's again a tool to function, but what would you not? Okay, just answer me this. Do you think the mind is a slightly higher rated tool than money? It should be, right?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
So if you train your mental faculty and you build your own capacity, and suppose you don't have any money tomorrow, let's say money is again a tool, it can go. There's so much, fraud and all those. Tomorrow, let's say the bank account is empty, and So if you do not have the skill and faculty, not only for doing a particular domain work, but the inner skill to be resilient, brave, courageous, and actually take the first step, then build it back. You can figure it out. If you have a large group of authentic friends, a good network, not essentially poor, just the tool is, but there are so many people to help you out. And you can make your own platform again. So the mind is a priceless tool. Money is finite, the mind is priceless. So this approach, and again I'll come to the packaging part, this approach, if the NGOs and the corporates both apply and not play on the need or greed of people, which the culture has incorporated in all of our training, but seek authentic roles for somebody. I'll give an example. So last year in Vatsalya, an intern had come, and I will not mention names, but he was very quiet. And I asked him many times, he's a non-resident Indian from America, and he was not proactively participating. I asked whether your heart is in it or not. You want to do betterment of this? He said, yes, I do. And he gave me brilliant observations after he went. And I got to work with teachers, and I still to this date use the revised format of noting down the personal characteristics of children, which he had suggested. Okay, we made it official. In intern, he was 17, he just turned 18 a few weeks ago. And yesterday, we received 45,000 rupees from him, which he raised in the US because he was driven.
Oh.
You understand the Vatsalya donation? So, the way the NGO frames itself, shows its work, is of profound importance. NGOs also sometimes operate under insecurity. To a donor, you will do, oh yes. And sometimes we see maybe some person will waste our time, so we are not paying too much attention to it. We don't know. Let us be authentic, show our work in reality, and let happen what happens. Let people who feel aligned come. Same should be done with corporates. There's no point in hiring 5,000 people, then firing 10,000 people. What's happening? I think my mic fell off. Yeah, I'm very, very expressive in my.
There's a clip.
There's a clip. Okay. I hope it is still working. Okay. So, corporations and NGOs, for-profits and non-profits, government systems I will not comment on, but as a society, us in large, package what really is, see who comes, let them come, see who doesn't, let them don't, let people do what they feel aligned to. You understand?
Yeah.
So NGOs can have big impact, big role, but NGOs need complete transparency, complete authenticity. So unfortunately, the culture of just, getting some from this side, some from this side, that culture needs to be questioned and eventually stopped. Yeah.
I will move to the next question.
Sure.
So there are many young people who want to bring change, and they want to make a difference, but they really don't know how to start or where to start. So what would be your advice for the youth, basically, who wants to make a difference?
Is this just Gen Z we are talking about?
Not just Gen Zs, but even millennials.
Okay.
Being one, I know people my age are also lost still. So not just Gen Zs, but also.
I would in fact not narrow it down to even Gen Zs or millennials. I think everybody,
Yeah.
even a 90-year-old has the full right to finally do what, you know, they feel alive. I remember the joke. Only yesterday I saw it. I think there are stand-up comedies, right? So Gen Z ka, I don't know who the comedian was. He said, you know, Gen Z speaks like this. I want to change the world and all that, and they're very clear. Oh, these are my boundaries. This is not working out. You know. So that stand-up comedian was enacting and saying the Gen Z is saying that, oh, this is not working out for me. It's my boundaries. I will not do it. And then they acts like the another person. Beta, मैं तुम्हारी माँ हूँ. I just remember the joke. See, it's great to have the fire to change things, but I would just resonate with all of the, you know, all the great thinkers have they have said since the beginning of civilization. Start with yourself. Start with ourselves. What change you would really want? Gandhi said that, be the change you wish to see in the world. I had to remind myself at many stages when I, you know, slip. What am I doing? Would I like to be faced with the same behavior which I am showing to somebody else? And it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So being patient, staying with it, not giving up, starting with oneself and aligning. And then, again, if you are authentic to yourself, and even if you, let's say, you just want to live a simple life, you don't want to create, you know, so-called impact because everybody is doing it. Well and good. A simple life is great because if you are able to lead a meaningful life without any harm to anybody else, nothing like it. So you don't have to even install in yourself that I have to be the change maker. Be a good person. Be sincere to yourself. Work hard in the areas you enjoy. Grow. Get the tool. Don't make the tool your life direction. Tool means money. So that's what I feel about it.
Great. 10 years down the line, what is your vision for Universal Perspective?
I thought about it a lot.
Okay. Maybe
I haven't.
10, 15 years.
Yeah, I haven't. See, one of my first failings in my professional journey till date was when I came to realize that I am not a businessman.
Okay.
And in 2017, when I established this company, you know, the original reason was that we were doing a lot of solar technician training here. I am a Germany trained solar engineer, so basically I've had the privilege of working with Mr. Wolfgang Scheffler. By the way, he is one big inspiration to me. If there's not much about him on the internet, you can find the Wikipedia article, but he's the inventor of Scheffler solar reflector, which cooks for 200 people every day here. Okay, all the food we'll have now in the lunch is solar food. Okay, he has been a mentor. I've been to at his home 4 to 5 times and stayed with him for months. He actually, you know, and I think I somehow forgot this, but I think I should mention this. And please bring me back to the original question also.
Okay.
Because you asked earlier what things in your life made some difference. So this is one big area. In my third year, I was ready to abandon engineering. Okay, my original motivation to do engineering was to be, eligible to marry my potential wife at that time. That was my original motivation. But then I realized during engineering that, oh, I love physics. During engineering,
okay.
So I love physics. But then I did not go along so much with a lot of thick books and all that. I almost hated it. But in the third year, fourth year, I got the opportunity to meet Mr. Wolfgang sir and work with him. The way he and his wife Heike, they kind of approached the real science, really made my love for the original science and physics and curiosity come back. Because I was drilling holes in integrated circuits, nothing special about that, but I was making tracking systems for Scheffler reflectors which would go around the world. So I was connected. And when I came back to India and I started my fourth semester project, it was a different thing for me. And that became my life mission in terms of science, which I have been carrying out at Vatsala through the Science Center and astronomy. And Sultan, give us just 10 minutes more. Everybody is watching. Yeah, back up. Apology to everybody. I'll still continue. So, what it did was, it opened the mind to a different approach to science, and I made it a mission that children need not be afraid of science because of the double differentiation icons and the complicated stuff. We can remove the hesitation, ask basic questions, like what is force? Why not ask it? If you are 25 and an engineer, why can't you ask it? You can still ask it. It's okay to really go back into the conceptual understanding again. That hesitation needs to go. So that I could kind of train and mentor the children to really ask questions. Most did not because of the cultural thing, but some did. We have one child who eventually made it to IIT. Not that it's something to boast about, but yes, he was driven to that. And then we this became a kind of a life mission. To your original question,
which was 10 to 15 years down the line.
Yeah, 10 to 15 years. So Wolfgang Scheffler, की मैंने बात कर ली, very inspiring person. 10 to 15 years down the line, when मैं बता रहा था कि I was I'm not a businessman in 2017. The first we were training solar technicians, and then solar technicians, most of them stayed unemployed. We did a course like to make them employable. Out of 140, 37, 36 got immediate employment. Most did not get immediate employment. So I had the feeling that we should give them an opportunity because they were friends and family who wanted solar projects done. And I said, why not establish a company? And through that, at least they can do the project. Vatsala cannot do solar projects. Vatsala cannot do any commercial activity. That equanimity engineering solutions could do. So we did some solar projects with them. And that time, my first project, I completed the project. And then when I later sat on the financials with my wife, I realized I did the solar plant for the customer and also gave them 20,000 rupees extra. So basically I realized I'm not a business person and it's not my play field. Although I learned from that experience, but that comes to this thing, what universal perspective is. So what it is not, it's not just a business venture. Yes, there will be revenue, yes, but I will be equally happy with my life purpose, even if universal perspective is just one small space in Jaipur, it remains and we get authentic small group of continuous clients, people who are seekers, who are genuinely seekers in the spirit of the word, and then we get a basic revenue and it exists as a space where people can let go of their hesitation and work on their career, life direction and everything. Personal and professional are always, they go together. Okay? And and that's a dream, if universal perspective spreads out across the world and there are more people who align with this philosophy, not necessarily more Kartikeys, but more people who who believe in the authenticity and the trueness and the right of everybody to pursue their own life direction. And also by giving access to those who can't practically get access to these things. So maybe expanding out to the world and being not a name per se, it can exist under any name. But the core message is to let people unveil their potential by developing their inner capacity. The inner capacity not of a particular skill per se, the external skill, but also the internal skill. To be mentally resilient, to not give up, to align with yourself, to think deeply, be thoughtful, pause.
Alright. So if you could leave the audience who was watching the interview with one advice about life, about their career path, anything, what would it be?
I would say to especially the youth, but to everybody, and this is something which I say to myself also. We don't need to rush. We don't need to rush into solving a problem today. We don't need to rush to mend or break a relationship today. That relationship may be with another human being, that relationship may be with work, that relationship may be with a hobby, whatever. The opposite of rushing is staying, is pausing, is looking at ourselves, and not with a lot of weight, not with a lot of, oh my God, this thought is too heavy for me. No, it's not about heaviness. A good reflection is not, in fact, it is the opposite of heavy. It kind of lightens you. Follows with enlightening. Enlightening is something different, but yeah, it kind of lightens you and okay, I've got this, I've got my life. No matter what stage I'm at right now, whether I'm 15 or 51 or 62, there is time to really pause, be with myself, course correct, whatever needs to be course corrected, and chart a new course, not like necessarily give up in practically everything. I won't ask somebody to just straight away drop out of college unless that is the ultimate conviction. No. But chart a new path and look at it without rushing. Looking at this functioning of the system and society and culture in general, and how to navigate all the barriers. Cultural barrier being the biggest one, but yes, all the other barriers also. And then be authentic to ourselves. Start in steps. Being polite to others, kind to others, but keep our footing of what we really want to do. And there is no need to panic about anything. That's what I would like to say. Thank you so much, Sakshi.
Alright.
Yeah.
To conclude everything, I would also like to ask you a few questions. It's basically like a rapid fire. You just need to answer in one word. Or
One word, okay.
maybe like a short sentence.
Sure.
Yeah. So, one skill every young person should master. What should be that one skill according to you?
Pausing.
Okay.
Pausing. One skill that everybody should master is pausing.
Alright. One book every student should read.
One book every student should read. I love books. This is a difficult one because I am thinking of 100 books.
Yeah,
So-
the name of few, not necessarily one.
Okay. The Mountain is You. That's one book which everybody should read. Yeah.
Alright. What is that one habit that changed your life?
One habit which changed my life. So my life is under the process of changing all. It's not changed. Like, it's always changing. One habit which changed my life. Exercising. Exercising sincerely.
Okay.
That really helps. And our mind, body, and everything is correct. Yes.
What would be the one piece of advice that you would like to give your younger self and not just everyone else?
I would like to say to my younger self just one thing: to be kind to all those who I was not kind to, and also to myself. Just to be kind. Kinder, because I wasn't kind during many fiery, changing phases of my life.
Okay. Last question. What, according to you, teaches you more, failures or success?
No, definitely failures. I mean,
And how? I mean, I would like to know your.
because failures are a part of success. It's like how. Well, it's very important to know what doesn't work out to ultimately reach what does.
But can it be like subjective for some people? Subjective, because maybe a lot of people are learning from their success and not failures.
It is always subjective.
Okay.
It is always subjective. There is no objective failure. Unfortunately, our society believes that there is an objective failure, but there is no objective failure.
It is always subjective.
It is always subjective.
Alright.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks to you too.
Thank you.
It was great.
And if we are still rolling, could we have just आप दोनों भी आ जाओ. Kudos to our video team for setting up the live stream at the last minute. Ajay ji and Ajay ji and Manish sir is not here, but Manish sir also. Thank you so much for working behind the scenes, and you can also come for working behind the scenes for extra shots. Name is
Shivani.
Shivani. Thank you so much, and thank you Sultan. We can start.
Did you know that? Did you have more time?
It's fine.
उनसे बोलो रोके